Understanding the guidelines for disbursements under maintenance and other operating expenses. Good day, school heads, administrators, and fellow educators and aspirants for the principal examination. In this episode, we will delve deeper into the comprehensive guidelines governing the use of funds allocated for maintenance and other operating expenses, MOE, under the Department of Education's policies, particularly Department Order No. 13, Series of 2019. This order outlines what expenses can and cannot be charged to maintenance and other operating expenses, and understanding these guidelines is critical for ensuring accountability, transparency, and effective fund management within educational institutions. Defining maintenance and other operating expenses. Before we discuss the specifics, let us first define what maintenance and other operating expenses refers to. This is a budget category primarily intended to cover the operational and day-to-day expenses of running a school. These funds are allocated for activities, goods, and services that are necessary to maintain the school's operations without involving large capital expenditures. It's important to note that maintenance and other operating expenses is distinctly different from capital outlay or personal services budgets. While maintenance and other operating expenses is for regular operating needs, capital outlay is meant for long-term investments, such as purchasing land, buildings, or major equipment, and personal services covers compensation for employees. Allowable disbursements under maintenance and other operating expenses. Now let's take a closer look at the specific types of expenses that are deemed allowable under maintenance and other operating expenses. These are expenses that directly support the operational needs of the school and ensure the smooth running of educational programs. Utility expenses. Electricity and water. These are fundamental for the operation of any school. The department's guidelines specify that electricity and water bills are allowable disbursements as these utilities are essential for the daily activities of the school. This includes lighting, air conditioning, water for sanitation and cooking in schools with feeding programs, and other essential services. Telephone and internet. In today's digital age, communication is paramount. Internet services for academic purposes, e.g., online learning platforms, research, communication, are covered under maintenance and other operating expenses. Additionally, phone bills for school communication are also allowable, as long as they are directly tied to school-related activities. Office supplies and materials. Teaching and learning materials. This includes textbooks, worksheets, educational posters, and other printed materials used directly in the classroom. Schools must ensure that these resources are not purchased for personal or non-educational use. Administrative supplies. Pens, paper, folders, and other office materials necessary for administrative functions are also allowed under maintenance and other operating expenses. These materials ensure that the school can efficiently manage records, documentation, and correspondence. Repair and maintenance of school facilities. Building repairs. Regular maintenance and minor repairs to school infrastructure, such as fixing broken windows, painting classrooms, and repairing roofing, are covered by maintenance and other operating expenses. Routine repairs to school furniture and fixtures are also allowable. It is essential to maintain a safe and conducive learning environment for students and staff. Security and safety maintenance. Any expenses related to maintaining the safety of the school, including security services or repairs to security equipment like locks, cameras, or fences, are allowable. This is critical for ensuring a secure environment for students and staff. Salaries and wages for non-teaching personnel. Non-teaching staff. The compensation of non-teaching staff such as janitors, security guards, and utility workers is allowable. Their roles are vital in maintaining the cleanliness, order, and safety of the school, and thus, their salaries fall under maintenance and other operating expenses. Temporary employees. In case a school hires temporary staff, such as PAR teachers, additional support staff during peak periods, their wages may be included in the maintenance and other operating expenses disbursements, provided that their roles are aligned with the school's operational needs. Professional development and training. Workshops and seminars. Expenses for faculty and staff to attend training seminars, workshops, or conferences that contribute to their professional growth can be funded under maintenance and other operating expenses. This supports the department's goal of enhancing the capabilities of educators and non-teaching staff. Skills development. Training programs aimed at developing specific skills that improve school operations, such as IT training for staff, leadership programs for school heads, are also allowable. These programs improve the overall efficiency and productivity of school personnel. School supplies for special projects. School activities. If the school is organizing educational programs like science fairs, cultural activities, or sports competitions, the expenses for such activities can be covered by maintenance and other operating expenses. However, it is important that these activities align with the school's objectives and benefit the student's educational experience. Transportation and travel for school activities. School-related trips for academic purposes, such as field trips, cultural immersion activities, are allowable expenses under maintenance and other operating expenses. However, the transportation expenses must be justified by the educational value of the trip. Non-allowable disbursements under maintenance and other operating expenses. It is just as important to understand what cannot be charged to maintenance and other operating expenses. Misuse of funds can lead to audit issues, penalties, and even administrative sanctions. According to Department Order Number 13, the following expenditures are strictly prohibited under maintenance and other operating expenses. Capital expenditures. Purchase of capital outlays or assets. Maintenance and other operating expenses funds cannot be used for long-term investments like land, school buildings, or equipment that have a service life of more than 1 year. These should be funded separately under the capital outlay budget. Furniture and equipment. Large furniture, desks, chairs, filing cabinets, or specialized equipment, computers, printers, that have a long lifespan and are intended for long-term use should be funded through the capital outlay budget, not through maintenance and other operating expenses. Non-educational or personal expenditures. Entertainment expenses. Any spending that is deemed purely for entertainment, such as staff parties, gifts, and other personal items, is not allowed under maintenance and other operating expenses. All expenses must be directly tied to the school's educational or operational activities. Excessive meals or personal travel. Travel expenses for personal purposes, including meals and accommodations unrelated to official duties, cannot be charged to maintenance and other operating expenses. Government taxes. Tax payments. As per the guidelines, payment for taxes like income tax, VAT, or local government fees cannot be sourced from maintenance and other operating expenses. These taxes should be paid from the school's other allocated funds. Repairs not related to school operations. Personal repairs. Costs associated with repairing personal property of school employees or administrators are not allowed. For example, if an employee's personal vehicle is damaged and requires repair, this should not be covered under maintenance and other operating expenses. 4. Best practices for compliance and proper fund management. To avoid misuse of funds, school administrators and finance officers should follow these best practices. Clear documentation. All expenses should be properly documented with receipts, purchase orders, and justifications. This will ensure transparency and serve as proof of compliance with the department's guidelines. Regular audits. Schools should conduct regular internal audits of their expenses to ensure that all disbursements align with maintenance and other operating expenses guidelines. External audits by the Commission on Audit, COA, may also be conducted to verify that public funds are used properly. Budget monitoring and control. School heads should closely monitor their maintenance and other operating expenses budget to ensure that funds are not depleted prematurely. Regular budget reviews can help identify potential savings or reallocations that will benefit the school. Training for financial personnel. Finance officers should be adequately trained on the proper handling of maintenance and other operating expenses funds. This includes understanding the allowable and non-allowable disbursements, preparing accurate financial reports, and ensuring proper allocation of funds. Understanding the full scope of allowable and non-allowable disbursements under maintenance and other operating expenses is critical for school heads and administrators. Proper fund management ensures that educational institutions are operating efficiently and sustainably while adhering to government policies. By following these guidelines and best practices, schools can maintain transparency, accountability, and compliance with the Department of Education standards. Thank you for your dedication to education and for ensuring the proper use of public funds. I encourage you to thoroughly review Department Order Number 13, Series of 2019, for further clarification and to consult with your division office if needed.